Not a scream, not quite a sob, but something in between, a sound pulled apart by grief, stretched thin by centuries, a cry that doesn't sound like it was meant for the living. People say it comes from the riverbanks first, a long wail drifting low across the water like fog. Others swear it echoes through empty streets, slipping through doors and windows like cold air. Some claim it doesn't matter where you are. If she is searching, she will find you. The cry is always the same, a woman's voice, broken and distant, calling for children who will never answer. They say the moment you hear her sadness turn to rage, it is already too late, because La Llorona does not weep for you. She weeps through your bones, through your fear, until you understand the kind of sorrow that doesn't end, the kind that becomes a curse. And once you have heard her, you never truly forget it. You don't mistake the sound for the wind again. You don't walk near water after dark again. And you will never laugh when someone whispers her name again. Because her story is not just a legend told to frighten children, it is a memory, a wound, a punishment. And tonight, before this story is over, you will understand why she still walks the rivers, searching, crying, and calling out for the souls she lost. Before the weeping, before the curse, before she became a warning whispered in the dark, she was simply a woman of beauty so striking that people said the sun lingered on her skin longer than on anyone else. Some stories call her Maria, others give her no name at all, as if names didn't matter before sorrow claimed her. But they all agree on one thing: women envied her, men wanted her, the world watched her. She did not come from wealth, but from simplicity, a village life of dust roads and clay walls where water was carried by hand and days began before sunrise. And yet, she walked through that world like someone meant for a different fate. And fate noticed her. It came in the shape of a man, a nobleman, a soldier, a traveler of high blood, depending on which grandmother tells it. But always the same, a man above her station and far below her heart. He was drawn to her beauty first. That's how these stories always begin. But she was drawn to what she believed was love, and when he spoke to her like she was the only woman in the world, she believed him. When he promised a future, she trusted him. When he held her, she thought destiny had chosen her. And for a time, a brief golden time, she was happy. Not the fragile happiness of fairy tales, but the glowing, dizzy happiness of a life that finally feels like it's becoming what you always dreamed it could be. From that love came children, beautiful, bright-eyed children who carried their father's bloodline and their mother's devotion. For a while, she had everything the world ever made her believe she could not have: a family, a promise, a forever. But forever is a word that breaks easily in the wrong hands, and his hands, hands that once held her gently, soon learned how to let go. Because for a man of status, love is allowed to be temporary. But for a woman with no name, no title, no protection, love is a risk with no escape. The distance started slowly, a colder tone, a shorter visit, a softer goodbye. Then it became absence. She waited and waited, and then she learned the truth. He had never intended to choose her at all. Her love was his indulgence, but his future belonged to another, a woman of his class, a woman with a dowry, a woman the world considered worthy. And the woman who once glowed with love began to crumble beneath betrayal. This is where the legend starts to darken. Before she became La Llorona, she was just a heart that had started to break. Heartbreak does not shatter all at once. Sometimes it erodes. Day by day, piece by piece, she felt herself slipping further away from the life she once believed she was promised. The man who once swore devotion now rode past her in the street without meeting her eyes. Worse still, he did not ride alone. At his side sat his new bride, elegant, wealthy, dressed in fabrics Maria had never even been allowed to touch. And behind them the people whispered, not about him, but about her. Poor girl. She should have known. She was never meant to keep a man like that. A woman can survive being abandoned, but humiliation can turn love into something else. She watched him laugh as if she had never existed at all. She watched her children wave to him, not understanding why he did not wave back. She watched her future ride away, and something inside her began to twist. That twist is where every version of the story starts to blur. Some say madness took her, some say grief hollowed her out, some say a shadow whispered to her, promising a terrible kind of relief. But they all agree on one thing. It happened by the water, a quiet place, maybe the river be.